Yes, we did. Yes. It's someone. Yeah, we do.
How we doing on there?
We have, I don't know, we can have them. They had to do their test on it.
I don't know, whoever it was, had it set up for that.
Severe afraid of it. Maybe
Yeah. There's someone on the phone.
Yes, so Chief Marks or start during my phone.
So then
Everyone's done. Okay, like, really. So where is it? I'll send you.
Right, 6 o'clock. Yep, better pick it.
Smothered. The call to order for the Public Safety Committee meeting, please take roll call.
Alderperson Schmidt,
Here.
Alderperson Leekno,
Here.
Alderperson Baker,
Here.
we have a quorum.
Okay, item number 2, please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the minutes of the February 24th, 2025 Public Safety Committee meeting. Move to approve the minutes. Second. Moved and seconded by Newman.
Leekno.
Lena. She's quiet over there, I didn't see. All in favor? Aye. Number 4, citizen comments. Hearing none. Item 5, discuss with possible action. 5A monthly police department report. Good evening.
With the warm weather, we've been busy, a little busier than usual again. Calls for service at the beginning of March, as of today, are 261. Our 2025 squads on order should be delivered in May. Yeah, but we're working with Belco for the equipment for that, for our CAP. Purchase, tornado sirens are 95% complete. They do have to do a couple of removal of some old ones. And then everything is operational. It has been operational. As they put one up, it's operational. They've been working on that last week for 4 of the days. We would have it up and going this week, but Jeremy and I are in service, so the training couldn't be done. So Monday will be the go live day with everything as far as our ability to monitor that, and that will be complete. The emergency generator, the lieutenant and I did service on it. We replaced the battery and did the general maintenance with all the fluids and that. The estimate that I had to have a service come out and do it was over $1,000, and the lieutenant and I think we completed it for about $199. It was, yeah, $200. And it did come on during this last storm where we had a power outage. It was on for a number of hours and did operate the way that it should, with no disruption to power to the PD. And overtime for the first pay period of this month was 15.5 hours. 8 of it was operational, and we have some drug task force operations that we've been doing. We pretty much covered the rest of it. That's really about it. I don't really have much other than that. Any questions?
Do you have any questions for the chief? Thank you, chief.
Thank you.
Item 5B, monthly EMS report.
Good evening. So for EMS, we actually had a peaceful weekend, so things are a little bit more peaceful. For the last week here, we're about 50 calls ahead of where we were last year. So overall for the year, we're still definitely ahead of where we were. Staffing again has been great. We've been staffing 3 ambulances, no problem, which has been fantastic for all of us, having the 4th one available. Devin is currently working on getting bids for a new ambulance. New ambulances are about projecting 2027, so it's in our budget for next year. But we're hoping to lock in a price, so we'll expect within the next couple of months here to come forward and at least try to get in line, because they have to actually put a purchase in to be able to get in line. So we're looking at that. Our staffing numbers are real good. We're real, again, happy with the team that we have. We continue to talk to people that are interested in possibly joining us. It's always an open door for people that are already licensed. We are gonna focus our efforts and our funding. We just got our FAP allotment, so that's an amount that we always get through the state of Wisconsin. It was increased into compared to prior years. Our percentage was much higher this time, $35,000, which is real nice for us. Usually it's somewhere between $6,000 and $10,000. We got a little bit more when they had some ARPA funds, but our amount is $35,000. We can escrow those funds if we need to. We intend to fully use that for equipment, rather than trying to deal with the numbers that are always a mess when trying to escrow year after year. A certain portion of those funds has to be used for training. And so we are working with City Hall on the appropriate way to take those funds for students that we do not pay for students to go up front. Typically, we pay for students that are already city employees, tried and true city employees. So we don't hire anybody and send them to school. We haven't found that to be a successful model in the past. So we have people that already work for us that are doing a fantastic job. And then we help them upgrade their license, or we'll reimburse them. They've been here for a year. You're going to sign a commitment to work 3 years for the city, and you'll have to reimburse the city should you leave prior. So that's been an excellent model for us, and it's something that we're going to continue. So some of that funding does have to be used for that. Our fundraising and our grant applications, we've got several grants that we're looking into to apply for additional grants. A lot of that funding, we want to focus on the potential of the new teaching center. So we just got our raffle tickets. We're doing an all cash raffle. So the drawing will be later this year. So grand prize is going to be $2,500 and then goes down from there. And if we sell all our tickets, we'll expect to make a little over $10,000 for our fundraising. We're still doing a golf outing. You should have seen that on the Facebook page. So that's another big fundraiser that we're looking towards. We're always looking to do something. So like I said, we're investigating a few grants. Julie, want to talk about training?
Yeah, so training, I don't know if you saw the paper, last week we had a great article on the Pioneer about the training center, so I'm super excited about how well that was written and just the information that was in there, and it's really gotten we've gotten calls already for our next EMT class, that we're actually possibly thinking about having to start a waiting list, so we're pretty excited about that. Our advanced class will be done middle of May, so we have 3 students in from Mayville that they'll be testing out, and hopefully we'll get them licensed and ready to go as soon as possible. And then this month, we actually have another in-person training we're doing with our interfacility, just kind of honing in the skills needed for writing our documentation and everything to make sure the building company has what they need. Any other questions?
Questions for us?
Any questions?
Did you want to mention the grant that you got with the town of Valera?
Yep, so we, with Stephanie's help and guidance, we applied for the innovation planning grant. And we found out on Friday that we were awarded with the town of Elmira. So there's going to be a study that's going to be done about looking at services, looking at our training center and how we can provide training to the other communities to help get, qualified EMTs in sooner and at a closer facility. So really exciting. I think the next step is, they're gonna be, talking with us and Town of Elmira and figuring out what we need to do next for the study. Do you have a question?
Well.
Tell by the look.
Oh,
You guys are really coming along with this thing. It's really ripened or whatever,
Yeah.
matured in the last 10 years. I really am proud of her.
Got a lot to be proud of.
Yes,
It's
sir.
a fantastic thing for our communities and for our surrounding areas.
Yeah, it's nice to see that. Are you planning on doing another sometime this summer, demonstration for the council for?
Probably more
choking
towards
or-
fall.
More towards fall, yeah.
Or breathing?
Yeah, we just actually, and I forgot to bring that up, we just met with, most of the departments, well, all the departments, for Stop the Bleed training, because, our med control was able to get free kits. Only 11 of them, but it's still a great start. And then we did handle CPR, just kind of a refresher, and then we'll be meeting with the PD in May. And doing that same training, a little bit more in depth. But, and we're working on trying to get stuff set up with the schools. We have St. Mary's scheduled for June. Right now it's looking at the public schools not till August. So it's just a great program, so.
Yeah.
And everybody participated
If
within the city, so.
somebody has access to the scanner, and just about every other night, there's somebody giving CPR somewhere.
Lately it's been, yeah,
Been a lot.
pretty crazy.
Too much.
All right, I think it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 5C, monthly fire department report. I understand we have Chief Marks on the air.
And chief.
Yep. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I'll fill you in on a couple of things going on. We are going to have some UTP training, which is gonna be the first UTP training that we've had at the department. The Wisconsin DNR, has notified us that they are starting to enforce some highway rules, and they prefer that, all of our firefighters are UTP trained. So that will be this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We have, just about 3/4 of the firefighters that signed up for that training will be certified. We also recently applied for a grant along with the high school and Keokee Fire Department that is for high school recruitment, for students to get exposed to the fire department. It would pay for their gear, their training, their hours, insurance, things like that. The first, notifications have been sent out. We did not receive a notification yet that we received anything. So we are hoping in the second round that we do receive notification, but we'll keep you guys in the loop for that. That would be a great addition, to bring some new faces and to bring some younger folks into the fire service for us. With my resignation coming up here in just a couple of months, my goal was to try to make the transition as smooth as possible. So I wanted to make sure that a lot of items were completed ahead of time to take the burden off of the new leadership that is appointed. So we have started doing all the PM testing. It's pretty much all the PM has been done for the majority of the apparatus. We've also had the PMs done on almost all of the small engines. We are now working on the chainsaws, making sure everything's 100% up and operational. We also have completed driver training. That was last week, Tuesday. So we should be good for the year on that. We also completed CPR and bloodborne pathogen training in January. Everybody's up to date on that. The only issue that I think I will have left that needs to be done yearly at this point is going to be the hose testing. That's only because the company that does our hose testing is not available until after my effective date of my retirement. But we do have that on the calendar, and hopefully the new chief will pick that up and make sure it's completed. Our biggest thing right now for the committee and council to move forward on is the new 2971 ladder truck was placed into service last week. It's already been out on a couple fire calls, which means we have the old 2971 completely stripped down and ready to be disposed of or sold, whichever you guys would prefer. I did send an email to Anastasia and Anastasia, did you, send out that email or do they have that in front of them?
Yes, I provided it to them.
Okay. If you guys look at the, email that was provided, we have 4 recent sales, that's between November and March. November 2024 and March 2025. The ladder trucks that were placed on Wisconsin surplus to give you an idea of roundabout what you could expect for that ladder truck if you sold it on surplus. The other option that we have is you could send it for scrap, but those numbers are gonna drop considerably if we send it in for scrap. And I would hate to see a functional ladder truck, just be scrapped. It obviously needs a lot of repairs, but I'm sure there's some, non-municipality fire department that would like it. And there's also organizations that buy these ladder trucks and they ship them to Venezuela or they ship them to Belize or things like that. So that's another option, but I did want to bring this up to see how you guys want us to move forward, if we are the ones that are moving forward, or if the city wants to take charge of this and list it and do whatever. So I'm leaving it up to you guys how you want, to proceed with this, which way you feel is best. Any questions about that?
No, I think we'll have some discussion. I think that's more of a matter for finance or council.
Okay,
And if it
Okay.
needs to be.
I didn't know where to
the
bring it up,
next
so I just
council.
brought it up here. Can you move it over to finance, or do you want me to call back in, or?
Well,
Is
it
everything-
would have needed to be agendized, so it wasn't a standalone item on the agenda, but we could put it on
Okay.
council.
Yeah, we can put on council.
Okay.
Council.
I would strongly recommend that we send it to surplus, and then we can do a minimum on it. So if we say we want $10,000 for it, the hold is 10,000, they have to bid at $10,000 if they don't get it. As you can see, that it could be 5,000, I mean, it could be 25,000, we just don't know what the market is right now for that old of a ladder truck, but that would be my suggestion. Unless if you guys can find a way where you can donate it to Belize and get a tax write-off or something for the city, I don't know that process at all.
We were tax exempt.
John Deeman?
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was any way that you guys could take it off something, I don't know, I know some cities do that, but I don't know the benefits to it, so I don't know what it is. So, but yeah, let me know when we can move forward with that. As far as fire calls, we are at 27 fire calls, year to date. So we're roughly on pace, gonna be 120, 130 fire calls. One thing to note, that will be the most fire calls we've had in a year. EMS, a couple months ago, is now handling lift assist in-house directly through the EMS, and I believe they're second and third crews. So these numbers now are 100% fire calls, like, I think except for one lift assist we did have. But we're at 27 fire calls year to date, so we're at record pace right now. Again, as a reminder, just as little as about 14 years ago, we were only running 35 calls a year. So it's steadily increasing each year. Last but not least for me, and then John will do the year-end report. We are currently sitting at 21 members. We started the year at 20, we're at 21, and we just hired another one got hired last week. So we are at 22 pending physicals. So that seems to be round about where we land each year, somewhere between 20 and 22 firefighters. So we're maintaining the membership, which we've been doing for 10, 12 years. So any questions for me on my report?
Have anything?
On your standard operator and procedures, are they all up to date in electrical system?
Yeah, electrical updates those automatically. They send updates through all the time. We actually just got a notification today about the American with Disabilities Act that they updated a whole bunch of them that they're gonna be coming through.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
What year is our ladder truck?
What-
Your name.
Sorry, we had a question. What year is the fire truck?
It's a 1991.
Thanks.
Yep. So they're going to do it, or the old one trying to do it.
And the new one's a 2024.
That's good.
Hey, John, go ahead.
Oh, all right, I'm gonna go over our year-end report for last year. It was in your packet. I'm not gonna go line by line, I'll just skim over it. We did have 134 calls last year. 50 were fire alarms. Majority of them were, the mech alarms with the water tower that we had last summer. Mavis or mutual aid, we had 35 calls. I always know we did have, on 50 of our calls, we had neighboring departments coming into town to help us. And lift assist were 27, fire calls 3, oil or gas, we had 7, 1050 PI 3, weather related 3, land zone 2, cars versus 4, house, fires down, and death assist is 1. The death assist is when, we help the coroner or medical examiner, remove the body from the building or the house. And then what we use for awards for the year, and then the members' hours, 1,189 for the fire calls, 638 for practice, 329 for meeting. Steward, 1,009. And then schooling was 532. Fire prevention was down a little bit. We only had 148 hours in on that. But we did reach over 2,027 adults and children throughout the community. And Brad covered where we're at on membership. Any questions on the report?
Well, if, you guys haven't heard, John Boris gave his, resignation letter. And his last day will be towards the end of the year, right, John?
Yeah, 12/31 is gonna be my last day as the assistant chief.
All right, so, you know, John gave well over 40 years to the cities and you're commended for that. And we're gonna miss you greatly, and we thank you for sticking on to the end of the year to get the new chief up and running. So thanks for all your dedication, hard work.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Have a good night.
Good night.
Item number 6, adjournment.
Motion.
Second there. Moved and seconded, we are adjourned.
Call the Public Works Committee to order. Please take the roll.
Alderperson Smith,
Here.
Alderperson Baker,
Here.
Alderperson Schmidt.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Item number 2, approval of the minutes.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 2A, approval of the minutes from February 20, oh wait, I guess we already got that. Usually we have 2 sets of minutes. You here? Citizen comments. Are there any citizen comments for Public Works? Seeing nobody, we'll go on to rest of the agenda. Item 4, monthly Department of Public Works report to the Public Works Committee.
Good evening. I'll start with brush pickup. This is the last month where it's only once a month. So next Monday is brush pickup, and then we'll be going to the second and last Monday starting in April, so it'll be twice a month. I don't know if you've noticed the back all out, we're cleaning every single catch basin in town. So we have 2 crew guys doing that, and we're following up with every catch basin that's damaged. We're repairing them as we go along, so every single catch basin in town is gonna get sucked out. And then, they write a report on which ones are bad, and we send another crew out to, repair those. Any questions on either one of those? Digger's hotline, that's starting to kick in, of course, it's spring, so you can imagine all the diggers that are coming in with projects and so on and so forth. Our dams, the gates are open 6 inches on both of them right now. We did close them a little last week. We got that snow and then we got another half-inch of rain, so it doesn't take long for them to fill at this time of the year. So I have them running both at 6, and we're probably gonna keep them a little lower now in spring. Due to the fact that nobody's really using kayaks or anything at this time, so. We will be running our rivers a little lower than we do in the summer. Storm damage, we had quite a bit of it, with that last, whatever it was that came through, we had some people go out late at night and so on and so forth, and Saturdays, we had a few branches covering the roads, and that was cleaned up and taken care of. Wednesday, I believe it was Wednesday that we had a snow event, again, that one came up a little quicker than we anticipated, but it was handled very well. We still have cold patching. I'm thinking with our new resurfacing that we're gonna have, it's gonna cut this in half, hopefully. Because the areas that we're doing are some of our worst roads in town. So that should help us out on that. Any questions so far?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Have people been cooperating with the, night parking or the overnight parking for winter rules?
I would say no, but, you know, we plow around them, so.
No, you did.
And our police department's been really good about ticketing. Okay, so it, you know, once they get a ticket, generally those cars aren't back on.
Some of these snowstorms have been predicted as disasters and
Yeah,
then nothing came and then the next time, we get rain and we get snow.
yeah, it's been kind of a different winter this year, so,
All right, thanks, Jack.
yeah.
Anybody else have any questions for Jack?
I would like to also thank our EMS for putting on this Stop the Bleed in our CPR class. Our whole entire unit was there and I thought Julie did a absolutely wonderful job, so I'd like to thank them very much. Any questions?
Yes, she did. We're gonna take over the county and thing.
Put that in right.
Anyway, good for them.
Thank you, Jack.
Thanks, Jack.
All right. Anybody else have anything? Monthly parks report. I guess that would be John. Or no, I keep forgetting.
See what you think, you want to do text time first, it's on there, it doesn't matter.
Let's see. Oh, yes. Oh, no, it says parks.
No,
Oh, no, it says
tag.
tag. I can't see it. I need a EMS to visit myself.
I'll make it really quick.
Pulse check,
What's that?
pulse check.
All right, takes are continues to be really busy. Weekends, been crazy with parties and swimming down there, which is really good to see. We're finishing up our winter programming, women's volleyball, pickleball leagues, winter swim lessons, ended last Saturday. It was a good winter for programming and classes. Now we're putting together all the summer programming. Which is setting up, the big thing is setting up our swim lessons for summer, and then we also do swim lessons for the Houstonford Rec Department in June. Ours are in July. Houstonford brings over 2 busfuls for 2 weeks, and it's a really nice little money maker for us for Houstonford. Maintenance on the UV system is back up and going. It's been down for a while out there. Got that going. All the other stuff that I've been reporting on the last few months. I mean, they're gonna hot water heaters and everything. I don't even wanna say it, but everything's been going, everything's been running well out there. It does make a difference when the weather gets a little bit warmer. It makes it easier to run out there. They get another price on the stone in the front, of the building. I had a couple different options of how to take care of it after the last rain that we had, still running in the building. Still dripping in the building, so it's something that's gotta be addressed, but it's an expensive fix anyway you look at it. Staffing is good right now. We are gonna be doing I have to do another lifeguarding class starting in summer here. And then we also are gonna have to start looking for some daytime adult lifeguards as we're slowly losing our daytime one. That's the hardest one to fill, so. And that's all I got for this month. Any questions on the Tate Center?
And the Minerva is working again.
They're working real well. They ended up finding it was a transformer that was kicking out on the one.
Oh,
So it was giving these.
So it wasn't as bad as we thought.
What's that?
It wasn't as bad as we thought?
No, not at all.
Okay. Okay, thanks. Anybody else have questions?
Thank you, John.
Okay. Monthly parks report.
Good evening. With it getting warmer out, the parks are starting to ramp up a little bit. Baseball and softball are kicking off. Women's high school softball started last week. So week prior to that, we got all the fields prepped. Ziegler Park's all good to go. Granted, we got some snow and some rain and it's frozen right now, so they won't be on it for a few days. Same with baseball field, Fireman's Field, we got all edged in and all the weeds ripped up and then dug stuff out and cleaned out for them. Got in contact with DJ Legas, because in the years past, he would mix up a dirt and sand clay mix for our infields. And he agreed to work with us again this year to make some through a shredder out at the industrial park. So our plan is to really improve Tyler Park this year. We also up at Fireman's, where there used to be all the microphones and megaphones through Audubon days in the past. We took down all them wires and ripped out all them poles, so that's not in the way anymore. It really made it look nice, it dressed it up pretty well. We, at the pavilion, our floor was getting kind of ran down and not so nice looking, so we had it buffered down and polished by some professionals that do it. And then speaking of the pavilion, it's wedding season for springtime, and this whole past month we've been booked tight, and so is the month of April coming up. So that'll be pretty busy for a while. This morning, our red dump truck, I was driving it and took a right turn, and I'm assuming from what I've heard, our rear axle shot. So that's sitting at Hulse, it's gonna be going to Halsey on Monday, so if this adds up, might be a little pricey fix, but we need it, it's kind of important for us, so. Hopefully it comes back with not as much as I'm hoping for the price tag. I've been working with Jack here and there with dams when he has time, or if I have time, we work together the best we can to try to learn as much as I can for that. Let's see here. We're gonna be opening up the well at Ziegler Park. We're gonna be opening it up probably Thursday or Friday, since it's gonna start getting a little warmer then, and then we're getting it tested by a lady out of Watertown to test our well. See the water is safe, if we need to do anything or what have you for that, but we're gonna start pumping that stuff up, and then parks open April 1st. So all that stuff's gonna start opening up pretty quick here, and all our faucets and toilets and stuff are probably gonna get worked on quite a bit from all the leaking from the winter time.
We have a well at Ziegler Park?
Yeah,
Where's the sewer going? Up the road?
I would assume. I don't know if there's a mound system there. I think it got taken off, from my understanding. I believe.
It seems kind of odd that if we have sewer, we don't have open water with it.
Yeah. Do you know, is there a mound system out at Ziegler? Is it up top of your head? I don't believe so, but I know we were talking in the future if we possibly get water from here to Ziegler, just because the well and some of the stuff's getting pretty old. So. That's all I have. If you have any questions.
How are the leagues filling in for women's softball?
Yeah, there was one team that dropped out, but John reached out to a bunch of people and that team got filled up right away, so we should be good to go.
It's good. It's probably the most popular
Yeah,
sports league we have in town.
women's softball brings in some money compared to the men's softball.
Good. Thanks.
Yep, not a problem.
Thank you, Terry.
Yep.
Okay. Item number 4D, discuss with possible action amending chapter 13 assessments of the city of Mayville municipal code. I guess. Stephanie, did you put this on here?
That is from the discussion to change the special assessments
Mhm.
for sidewalks and for alleys. So this only pertains to, you know, the procedures of assessing the special assessments that would now go to, I believe the chart is in here.
There's a draft chart in there. Proposed for-
So sidewalks would be changed. Annie, you will correct me if I'm wrong. So sidewalks, any new sidewalks would still be the cost of the property owner. Replacement sidewalks is, the total cost, it would be paid by the city. And then it addresses corner lots.
that the same curve too?
It just says sidewalks.
Yeah, I think the only thing different is driveway aprons, something, or is that in the next one?
So that is some of the questions that I have had. I mean, when you add alleyways, so sidewalks. Is it just replacement when we're doing a project, or is it like repairs? When somebody has a sidewalk that's, you know, not even and has to be replaced or repaired, is that the city gonna bore that cost then, or would that be the property owner? So there's, because there's a lot of sidewalks that should be inspected, that probably
Right.
should be repaired, replaced.
So we're discussing that now? Is that, this is something that, I don't know how this came, I'm glad to see it back here. I talked about it 15 years ago when I didn't think it was right that people who have a sidewalk in front of their house not only have to keep it shoveled and maintained, but also have to pay for it. When the place across the street has a sidewalk that they walk on your sidewalk, but they don't have one to maintain or pay for. So I think this is great. As far as your question, I don't know, I'll leave that to anybody who wants to discuss it. I think alleys are probably closer, are a different story, and I think driveways might be an exception. However, I think this is, the way this is changed, I think this is a great idea, and replacement or repair. If the city owns the sidewalk, the taxpayers own the sidewalk, and it's damaged through what, tree roots or heaving or frost. I don't know if that should be placed on the property owner unless it's the property owner's fault. I don't know, Mayor, you had some thoughts about this?
Well, I think if it's maintenance, as far as, the sidewalks heaving, I guess that should be a burden by the homeowner. But if it's a new construction, or not a new construction, if it's a construction that we're redoing the street, then I think curbs and sidewalks should be,
Right,
everyone should pay, except for the apron. I think the approach would have to be incurred by the property owner regardless, if it was new or existing.
yeah, that would be, because that's more optional as to how wide your approach is, or whether you have, you know, 2-car garage or 1-car or something.
Or if someone's cutting in a new driveway.
Yeah, cutting and making it wider. The only thing, I think people want to discuss this, is this gotta go to, council?
At some point,
Yeah, I think, the question of repair or replacement, I like the fact that replacements are up to and the city's paying for replacements, because property owner doesn't have a lot of control over that. But as far as repair, I don't know. What is, Jack, do you have anything
So what
to
we've done in the past is we do a sidewalk inspection.
do that 3-inch
We have
thing?
a little chart on a piece of paper that shows how much, if it's this much, you can grind it, blah, 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 if it's higher, you have to replace it. We give them the option for either us to do it or go out and get a contractor. Well, everyone so far that we've done goes with us because we are cheaper and we're not out to make money on the homeowner. So we definitely get our costs covered and, you know, we are okay there, but that's generally how we've been doing it. Can you do a section of town at a time? We check them, we send them a letter, they have so many days to respond to the letter, and then they can go option A, B, or C. Do it yourself, do it with the city, or do it with the contractor.
It sounds like you're in agreement with the mayor that the homeowner should take care of the maintenance, but give them the options of how it gets to be done.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Jack. So Jack, you gave 3 options. Is it in the best interest of everybody if somebody does it themselves? I mean, some could do it, I'm sure, but what about those that aren't real privy to doing sidewalks?
Well, then they have the other option of having us do it. Or have a contractor do it.
I guess where I'm going with this is if they chose to do it themselves and they did a really bad job at it.
I'm sure
Jack was back and reevaluate to make sure it's up.
Yeah, I check them after they're done, so they only have 2 days to do it, and I'll go back and do an inspection again. I guess if they took the chance of doing it themselves and really didn't know what they were doing, we would have to say, hey, it needs to be done again. That would be really defeating the purpose if we give them notice because they're raised, then we put a new one in and it's still raised, I guess they would.
Yeah.
That would be an option.
I'd rather see people who know what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, yeah, they have to redo them if they, I mean, we've had people do it themselves and they've done a nice job, so. I mean, there's not a lot to it, it's like concrete, you know, it's not like you're bringing it out a little bit. I mean, it's not that difficult.
Thank you.
So you're comfortable with the way you described it?
I personally think it's a good way, and I agree that they should be responsible for this.
And how often do you do a sidewalk? You used to do them once a year?
Yeah,
Sidewalk inspection?
yeah, we'll do them this spring again, and we try to do sections. Of town, so. You know, I know of a few right now for sure that are getting. I mean, we've got a couple that are sticking up.
Besides the sticking up, we have something that covers the size of a crack.
Yeah, yeah, anything really pitted or cracked really bad, yes.
You have a lot of old ones that are 50 years old. Unfortunately, the road hasn't been replaced, but beside the calcium's all worn off and it's just pebbles.
Yep, those have to get done.
Yeah. All right. So anybody wanna make a motion to do something with this?
I think we gotta include the curbing, don't we?
Uh,
I would.
yeah,
Because right now it's not included.
so it's not.
No, I could take the verbiage from the adjustments I made to sidewalk and apply it to curb and gutter before we send it on to council.
Is that okay with you?
Yep.
So can I have just clarification, if we're doing a new project? And we have to replace sections of sidewalk. And there's also in that project area, there's also property owners that don't have a sidewalk. That we would wanna continue the sidewalk on. So the property owners would pay for the sidewalk for the new sidewalk. The city would pay for the project. Where they already have a sidewalk and we're gonna replace it.
Oh geez,
That's
you're
what I
right.
would say, yes. Cause he probably took out them sidewalks illegally, cause like we've had in the past.
They did or we did?
Oh, we've had homeowners that have
Right,
taken
right.
their sidewalk
There's a
out,
few places, but
and now we got patches where it's sidewalk, no sidewalk, right, Jack? So you know damn well, they took them sidewalks out at some point.
Interesting.
I just want clarification that when we're
that's a
doing,
little,
for instance, we're gonna have Grove Street coming up, so.
that's a complication there. I think your little thing you have in there, the property owner's statement, kind of covers that. We could expand that to cover, I mean, there's only one section, I can see that, but if the whole side of the street, we've got areas in town, there's no sidewalk at all, or no curb and gutter. And if they don't want it, if 50% or less, if less than 50% want it, we don't do it, apparently, right?
I believe that's how the ordinance is written.
Right, because this has come up in more complicated than this before. Mary Street, out by me, River Drive and some parts of Forest Drive and where there's ditches and where there's storm sewers and where there isn't storm sewers, there's no curb, there's modified curb. So if you're doing a new project and we're planning on doing something out there, I guess, I don't know, how would you address that? We had on Lower River Drive at one time.
But I think we already addressed it, we don't have sidewalk and
For mandating you have a sidewalk, you gotta pay for it.
And curb.
And curb. Well, curb's probably there, and it's not curb, we're not putting.
No, there's no curb. A lot of those places, there's no curb or gutter. And there's farms, and there's open ditches. Some places there's a modified curb. I think the idea, your first idea was my old idea from a long time ago, where the city should own the sidewalks. The property owners should keep them shoveled. The taxpayers should pay for them, and they walk on the ones that are available. I don't know how this. And we've got I'm sure you have, because you get around, but. If you take a ride through the city, which I do a lot, there's a lot of areas that. That should have sidewalks and don't, and a lot of areas where there is no sidewalk and the kids are walking in the street to get to school.
Right, she's talking about if we have areas. And when she's talking about that street, exactly, that's how it is, It's sidewalk, no sidewalk, sidewalk, no sidewalk.
Right,
You know, if we're gonna redo the street and put sidewalks in, we're putting sidewalks. We're not gonna spot it.
no, that's, those intermittent sidewalks, I can understand, that's more like towards your area,
That's the question she was asking,
okay?
right?
Right. Mhm. So when we do the project, we're gonna replace the sidewalk,
Or
and the
put
city
in
will
new-
pay for it, but we probably won't be putting in new sidewalk then.
Or no,
You,
if
you
the ones
would,
that
if
go
we
in,
would,
If
then
the
the property owner would
Yeah.
have to pay for the new
Right.
sidewalk.
so we have to evaluate if we're gonna put the sidewalk in or not.
Right,
Or if you wanna specify when you're having a project going on, that you have to meet these standards.
I'm sure, yes, Kim,
I have a, this pertains to Jack as well. Now. Where I live, there are semis going around that corner all the time, and the curb shot for getting there. Is that gonna fall on me?
Well, that's what we're talking about, we're talking about if we have a curb, right, the curb
Curb and gutter, yeah.
is gonna get busted up, well then, if it's existing, then the city would pay on a new project.
On a replacement.
And we'll take a chunk of your curb and gutter and bust it out in one place, which it does not fall.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
But if it's maintenance, but if it's a maintenance issue, that's different.
Right.
'Cause we got plenty of people in town, people don't understand it, but, you know, if you have weeds growing in your curb and you're not killing the weeds off and it gets to the point where it's busting up, well, then eventually you're gonna have to pay to have that repaired. That's why it's important to make sure that people have weeds growing in their curb, get rid of the weeds. Right, Jack?
Correct. If it's a case where we've hit it with the snow plow or truck damaged it or whatever the case is. But yes, I agree with the maintenance is very important even on the curb. Because that grass gets in there, it will bust inside.
Yeah, that, what I found too, what is it called, mastic?
Mm-hmm.
There's the strip, when you pull those weeds out, that comes out too. So. Problem to address in the future.
But do we give you enough information that you can go back and,
But I can redo this, or Annie can, she was working on it.
let's bring it back next month?
So what happens if a property owner wants to have their sidewalk replaced and the city doesn't feel it needs to be replaced?
Then they pay for it out of their own pocket. We're not doing,
Well, we'll
street-
have to put it in there that way.
we're not putting a street repair in there.
Do you only want these replacements when we're doing a project?
That's why we were gonna bond out the money. Yes.
Only during a project?
City
Okay, that really
required
clarifies it then.
replacements, okay.
Right. So how else are we gonna get the money?
Well, that's not what your ordinance is saying. Right now, it's that, is any replacement, the city's gonna pay for it. We'll have to put the wording in there.
Okay,
you wanna bring it back? And think about it tomorrow, or
Yeah, I think we should
do I have a
bring
motion
it
to
back,
table it?
because we didn't even address alleyways yet.
Well, she's gonna change the verbiage.
Mhm.
Curve.
Yeah.
Look at it then.
And then we'll bring it back to the
Yeah.
committee.
And do something with the alleyways. I thought that was pretty much done, but I guess it wasn't.
Well, the alleys, that's your next agenda item,
Okay.
but we did add it in here, the alleys. So alleys were new, total cost paid for by abutting property owners, replacement. Is also by property owners. And then corner lots doesn't pertain, and then method of payment would be a special assessment.
So I took the existing verbiage we had for sidewalks and applied it to alleyways,
Good.
is what I did in the table.
Well, I hate to beat dead horses, but no, I don't. I love to. But if, out by me, which is considered a very convoluted rural subdivision that was, Mr. Schultz put in 3 different phases. And it's been kind of contentious for all the 25 years I've lived here, where some people wanted sidewalks, some people didn't, some people like the nature of things and they like to walk in the middle of the street, other people don't. Other people don't. We've had cases where a couple of times the homeowners tried to get sidewalks, curb and gutter put in, and it was like 48-52 against. And it didn't happen. But we've got all different areas there. So how, and we're planning on doing a street project there, so who's gonna do the recommendations for something like that?
The council. We're not doing any street project, all we're doing is a mill and overlay,
Oh, really? There's nothing planned there for,
Correct?
just a mill and overlay, we're not doing the sewer or storm.
No,
okay,
and no curb and gutter or sidewalks.
Right, so it's gonna stay as is, we're just gonna do a mill and overlay.
all right,
That's what we're,
That's what we
what the
budgeted.
bids say, right,
all
Jack?
right,
And the bids are coming out great.
Yeah,
all
Come
right.
on, what?
on the 20th of March, the bids are gonna be submitted,
So we're only gonna do the resurfacing and,
correct? And the sub phase of
okay,
the road.
Yeah, any kind of soft spots will be in that.
all right. All right, then I would hope somebody would make a motion to table this till the next council, or next, committee meeting.
So. Pretty cool.
There's a move, first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Okay, 4E, discuss with possible action. Oh, wait, that was it. 4F. Discuss with possible action, engineering services agreement.
We do still have 4E, the section 368-8.
Okay, oh, that's the one with alleys or what?
Yes,
Yep, so that's the code that that table would feed into and would need, like you.
so
Do we
this
have
is
enough
the part.
information for you to present something to us at the next?
So what I need, so this chapter of your code, it lays out how sidewalks should be for the construction and the repair and the processing. We don't have a section like that for alleyways.
Oh,
So we need to have the specifications of how you want your alleys, the materials they can use, the subgrade
geez.
and all of that. So, I mean, that would have to be constructed and be another section within your code in the chapter 368. Otherwise, all alleyways has is a definition. We don't have any,
Well, why don't we just use subgrades for the engineering, city of Mayville engineering standard?
but we can. But we still have to draft that section to say
Right.
that.
So
Well,
what if-
For instance, if there's water main underneath the alley and the city tears it up with that water main, is the property owner still gonna be responsible?
No, I think we're just talking about new, or not new, we're talking about alleyways that are being completely overhauled with the mill and overlay.
So if we damage the alley, then it would be a city cost?
Right.
That's where we have to lay that out that way then.
is this the one? Which one of these, E or D or E, what was the purpose of furnishing Horacan's ordinance, by the way?
That's a little bit different,
That fed into this.
yeah, that's sidewalk.
Okay. That's sidewalks. All right,
We don't have anything on alleyways, I remember that there was an alleyway that wasn't technically owned by the city.
Bunker Alley up there.
And we ended up spending $35,000 on a new alleyway. And we need special assessment for it,
Correct.
because we don't have anything in our ordinance about it.
No, but well, we did sort of, we kind of. The city paid for it because it was kind of assumed it was the city's. Remember that, Jack?
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Bunker Alley with Mike Kurtz and all those people. And I think they contributed, they did their own driveways or something. It was kind of a cooperative deal. The city assumed responsibility for it one time, remember? And we did it. That was a one-time deal. And I think it resolved fairly. I know our ex-mayor called from wherever he was living in Florida or something. And was happy that it got resolved.
It came out to be more of a public safety thing.
Yeah.
And
And turning around the garbage trucks
yeah,
and,
and
No,
you know, they said that
Right.
city should be reliable for that part of it.
do you still plow Bunker Alley or
Yes,
not?
we do.
You know?
We plow all the areas.
There was another case where there was no ordinance to cover it, and there's really no ownership of it. And, so the council resolved it, took about 2 months, 3 months, but I think we got it fixed, and now it's okay now, right?
Yep.
I think they had to widen a lot of their driveway aprons, and they had to build their own sections, part of it, but anyway. I don't know how that applies to this. Do we have any other alleys like that, Jack?
Actually, the alleys are in pretty good shape. We remember those years back, we rebuilt the alley by Grand in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because the retaining wall fell off.
Right,
Yeah, we dug them all up and put the stone in
Yeah.
and then blacktop. They're actually still in pretty good shape.
That was our private property, the stone fell and because the retaining wall fell, the road fell. We had to redo the whole thing.
how about Alley Street? That's technically like an alley. Is that resolved now?
Yeah, alley's good for redone.
It's actually a street.
That's
I know,
actually
but
a street.
It's kind of an alley street.
It's, yeah, a little,
Yeah. Okay. So
We don't have a ton of alleys, but we do have,
some,
well, I don't know, how many we think we have? 10, 12?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
are those alleys still used for garbage, pickup like when they used to have the garbage boxes?
Yep.
Do any of them still have those concrete garbage boxes or no? Probably not
I
anymore.
don't think so. That's anywhere.
All right, so do you think we can? Stephanie, do you think you can?
Yeah.
Based
I
on what
think we're
we
gonna have-
talked about, we can come up with something?
You might have to reach out to an attorney to help us with that.
Well, we're gonna
Alley.
probably send this to attorney after we get it all drafted anyway, so.
Okay. So. We table this also.
Yes. It all works together.
Do I hear a motion to table?
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, wait, I forgot to ask, does anybody else have any questions? I'm sure you totally confused. Okay.
Kind of a rough evening.
Bring in the dead horse.
Is there enough room in these alleys for ambulances? And 4F, discuss with possible action, engineering services agreement.
Yeah, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, these are just our servicing agreements for, I forgot what projects.
Grove Street.
Grove Street, oh, yes, Grove Street and then Allen and Muzzy. And this is for road projects for next year, but we have to start the engineering so we can apply for the grants. So that's what this is.
And this is, we've already got the engineer assigned, right? So this is just to approve
Give them offers.
going out to get bids.
No, it's approved to have Kunkel be the engineer for the design and engineering services,
And it would feed up to council.
and it would feed up the council, yes.
Okay.
So the one for, this is Alley Street.
And Muzzy.
This is, Grove Street is $57,985. And then additional 8,000 for the safe drinking water loan application and clean water loan application. And then Muzzy Street and Allen Street is $149,450 and additional 8,000 for the two loan applications.
Okay, and I would imagine the planning commission went through this, okay? No,
Nope.
No, this is this is gonna be redone, we're gonna redo the street. So this one here, we're gonna do, you know, sewer, water, storm, everything,
all right,
sidewalk.
and we've already agreed what Kunkel gets paid.
That's the prices right there.
I mean, that's
That's their bid.
their bid to
We
do
didn't
the
take all, we
engineering.
didn't take all our fees.
We didn't,
No,
we just went with our city engineer.
are you comfortable with that? You guys?
I think we'll have to be because these applications have to be in, but next time we should have, we could definitely go for proposals for engineering services for our street projects.
Okay. Then, are there any other questions for, I'm sure you're all crystal clear on it. I will make the motion myself to, send this out, approve this and send it on to council.
Clicking that.
Any other discussion? Please take the roll.
Alderperson Smith,
Aye.
Alderperson Baker.
Aye.
Alderperson Schmidt. Motion carries.
All right, number 5, adjournment.
Well, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Like to call to order the City of Danville Finance Committee meeting March 24th, 2025. Anastasia, can you take the roll
Alderperson Newman,
here?
Alderperson Olson,
Here,
Alderperson Smith.
Aye.
You have a forum.
Number 2, approval of the minutes of the February 24th, 2025 Finance Committee meeting.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
The first. Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Number 3, citizens' comments. At all for the Finance Committee? Agenda. Seeing none, I'll move on to the next. Number 4, discuss with possible action, the 2025 audit engagement contract with Baker Tilly.
so this is the, oh,
Go ahead.
if you want me to.
Oh, please do.
This
I
is
had, I had one question and that was it.
Yeah. This is the engagement letter to do the 2025 audit, not to do the audit that they are completing, not the 2024 audit. It came about when Annie was talking about the city filing the Form C. So that's your financial statements, that's like your tax return, that has to be filed by May 15th. And I said, I'm pretty sure Baker Tilly does it, so then we checked into it. And we couldn't find the contract and we didn't have an idea what they were charging. To find out that we currently have a 5-year contract with Baker Tilly with no prices set in there. So then I asked for a contract with prices, and we also wanted to eliminate the audit for the utilities. They don't need their separate financial reports. They could be just part of the city audit. So that also they have spelled out in here with their contract. And this is a 1-year contract, so we can redo this next year then. I don't know, Nicole, if you have anything to add. So you could add what we were paying for, auditing services from Baker Tilly for the last 3 years.
Yeah, the city portion, last year was, this is approximately $70,000.
No,
Right.
total, what we
Oh,
paid.
altogether?
Yes.
Oh, this is with tip and utility, but if you put utility in it, they also had, rate case studies and things like that, so there's a lot more into it, like the plan. Stuff, with the plan information too, $123,488 was for 2024. 2023, we spent $138,830, and then 2022, we spent $97,608.
So this year's contract is at 94,250 to do the 2025 audit, but I still feel that it's very high for the city of Naval. So,
Does that include TIDS and
yeah, that includes everything.
it eliminates the necessity for a utility audit?
But they're still charging us $30,000 for the utility audit. And he said, I asked him, I said, so if the city agrees not to do a utility audit, we can subtract it. He said, no, I'm just keeping that cost separate. So if you add the utility audit and the city audit,
Then you're back to the
you're
same thing.
you're at 84,000 right there. That's really high for the city of Naval.
I saw 98,000 for this year.
94,000, yeah.
How much was it?
What's that for this year?
No, the new one I was looking at, I think the numbers, was it 98,000?
That was for 2022. Is that what?
Yeah, it could have been, I skimmed it really quick,
But that includes utility as well.
but then you're up to, 123,000, 138 and 23,
Yeah.
123 and 24. I thought it was extremely high, I was almost shocked. I know they do a great job for us, and they've been with us for a long time. I was shocked at the cost. And then I'm really shocked that we have a 5-year contract with no prices in it.
Correct.
That's crazy.
Out of curiosity, do you have 21s in there anywhere? No, but I can look for it. I can get that right now.
This is John Rader,
Yes.
and I can't believe. I was here, I can't believe, well, maybe I wasn't active then, but I can't believe we would sign a 5-year commitment without any prices on it. That just blows my mind.
Second,
Was that an oversight?
I wasn't here. I don't know, but I'm bringing it to your attention now. I'm not sure.
thank
If
you.
you want to continue down this, or should we get some requests for proposals? I don't know of many auditing firms. I mean.
We've already got a contract with them where they get to pick the price. How is that contract? Mary, you deal with bad contracts all the time. What do you think about this?
I don't think it's enforceable. I think the lawyer would have to review it, but I don't know if it's enforceable if you don't have a price on it.
Well, they're breaking contract with us all. They offered us a new contract this year, so we don't have to.
But you still think that one is too high?
94,250 for a municipality of 5,000 people.
Well, you might be right, but we've always paid 120 before.
We were at 97, 138,000, and then what was last year's? I think 132.
123.
123 was last year's.
And what changed?
What does the audit cover exactly? I mean, I think when they do the audit, there's certain things that we require and certain things we don't.
We can't go without an audit.
Right, but I'm just saying, is this like the Cadillac of audits or is this where we have?
Do it.
No, this is basics. This is what. And this doesn't include, like, if they have to do any journal entries, any additional entries, I think they're up to $450.
Per entry.
Per journal entry, correct.
Was this when,
And that's-
does this also include when they came in to help the?
That was
whoever sitting in that chair at that time?
Yes.
That was 23, that's why we had
Yeah,
quite the
well-
expense. And they did the most journal entries ever, my recollection, sitting here when they were here last time,
And then we had Stickich and 2 other outfits come in and,
just throwing out money.
yeah. And then we were tagged with the idea that there's $700,000 missing besides, which is a big total farce. So
And that's why I thought that it should have gone down from 40,000, and it should have went down more than to 94,000. I mean, it's $46,000 that it went down,
Right, so,
and you had,
but do we have to get something done soon? I mean,
no,
statutory, okay, so,
this is 2025's audit, so we have
Okay.
to have, they would probably do their field work come in November.
so I think we should table this and authorize, or I mean, ask the city administrator to, renegotiate or negotiate a contract, whether it's gonna be 5 years, the balance of the 5 years, or
I
year by
did
year or
negotiate,
something.
this is what they came back with.
I think we should go and take all the proposals. We can find some more auditing firms.
We could do that.
They always sold us on them because they already knew everything from here already. They already had the. They're very familiar with everything. Of course, they didn't work out last year.
Well, part of it, I think what's going on here is this is my assumption is that, Baker Tilly is no longer small. They're pretty good sized outfit, and I know the county just went to Baker Tilly which is, huge contract for them. So I think they're kind of looking at the scope of work of where they get the more bang for their buck in these bigger counties and cities. There's a lot more revenue to be made there. To be honest with you, you don't have to deal with little communities anymore.
Well, I'm all for putting out RFPs if you think it'll fit into the time slot and you think they'll bid on it if we put out our RFP for it?
They might.
Even though we have their proposal already.
Well, right now, there's nothing holding them to it. I mean, they know they're their only player in town, so just might make them rethink stuff. So.
But you said something that was, sorry, Chairman, you said something that kind of, you said we don't really need a separate utility audit anymore now that
We never
utilities are
did.
reorganized. What's that?
We never did.
Well, they always did one separate. I remember this.
Right, and you can do like let's say on any of your kids, you can do a separate financial reporting for any of your kids. You can do it, you
Right.
just pay more. But utility audit, the utility portion is already going to be audited within your city audit.
Mhm.
Just like the tag centers in your city one. So you could do a separate audit for the tag center. So it's not needed. So we said, I mean, we're gonna forego that for the next year, but then they came back and they have 30,000 in there for the utility audit. So I'm lost with
I
that.
remember 2 years ago, and you remember this, you were absent like me for a year. But
There's actually two, but
I had to call,
I was here.
John Rader at home to get him to tell us why, what was happening. Remember all like the motion we had? I think we should open it up. What about TIDs? You know more about the TIDs because of the planning commission. Is our TID been audited separately all this time or
No, that's part of your city audit.
And it's only a couple grand, it's nothing,
right.
it's not.
is our TID in good shape or is need special auditing help, right?
No, TIDs are fine.
Okay.
But we have a new TID that we just created, so that one might have a little bit more attention, but the other ones are fine.
All right. Can we put together the parameters for this RFP?
The specifications?
Yes.
Yes. That's
You
what I did
can.
at Dodge County.
Specs,
I can write
Well,
up
then
an
you should,
RFP.
then we have somebody who can
Yeah.
put all that down there and then we can take,
Usually I can, in 6 weeks, I could get proposals back by.
okay, so. Well, I'm talking out of turn, which is my forte, but ask the chairman, what do you want to do here?
I was gonna make a motion to seek RFPs for the audit. That's my motion that I was gonna do. Just because of the behavior of the past and just the cost. Like I said, I'm shocked as you are.
Yeah,
I would second that.
Motion first by me, second. Olson, all, want to take the roll?
and well, let's put an amendment to that about, what do you say, 6 weeks, 8 weeks?
Yeah, 6 to 8 weeks, I should have proposals returned.
Okay, is that okay?
With the timeline, 6, yeah,
6 to 8 weeks.
that's fine. I take a roll.
Absolutely. Alderperson Newman,
Aye.
Alderperson Olson,
Aye.
Alderperson Smith. Motion carries.
Number 6,
I'll make a motion to adjourn
I'll second.
at 7:13.
Olson and Smith. Thank you.
Thanks you, Stephanie.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Ed.
We call the Naval Personnel Committee at 7:13. Roll call, please.
Alderperson Olson,
Here.
Alderperson Newman,
Here.
Alderperson Leadnow.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, number 2, approval of minutes from February 24th, 2025.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any citizen comments pertaining to the Personnel Committee? Seeing none? All right, discuss with possible action. Review section 3.05 military leave of draft City of Mayville employee handbook.
You wanna start with the military one? So the military one was tabled from last meeting, because I wanted clarification on banked holidays. And holidays, if you wanted to, the wording was accrued, unused vacation and sick leave and banked holidays. At the time of the leave commences will be held in the employee's account unless requested to be paid out, but we don't accrue holidays. Holidays are used as they have. So what I did was I just removed banked holidays out of there. So it's gonna be that they can either keep it in their account or ask for it to be paid out, and it would be for vacation, sick leave, and sick leave. That would be the only two. And then at the end of that sentence, upon return from uniform service, the employee will once again start to accrue future vacations and sick leave, and I took holidays out of there. That was the only clarification I needed, because it's not, they don't accrue holidays.
You're gone, you miss them, right? You're
You,
gone, you miss them.
right,
Would anybody care to make a motion to enact on this?
I'll make a motion.
All right. And I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, pass 3-0. 4B, review section 5.06. Grievance procedure of the draft City of Mayville employee handbook.
so our current grievance procedure is outdated. And it more or less specifies that we have a process that if something happens, you can grieve. So there's no really procedures in there. So this is laying out your grievance procedures, the definitions. Matters not covered by the policy, the grievance steps, which we currently, the verbal wording instead of written grievance, then representation, administrative response, and all of the procedures that should go through in a grievance process. So I expect that everybody read these pages. It goes on and on, so, and then they also would have appeal to the common council within that policy then. So it's pretty defined.
Did everybody get a chance to read that over?
I got a question.
Okay,
So what can they grieve? I mean, because there was in their section, they can only grieve certain things.
You gotta find it.
I would think we should have them grieve whatever they want.
This is Mayville. They don't need any help grieving about things here.
Right, but the problem I see is that if you don't have a grievance procedure on what they want to grieve, the recourse is go to court.
Right.
Do you want to deal with that? I'd rather just have an employee have a grievance process, so if they got some issue, we can we can
Go through the process.
address it, right? Rather than,
Open.
I've seen this before where you're limited on what you can grieve, the next step is to go in front of a judge.
This is to utilize for matters concerning discipline, termination, workplace safety that are covered by this policy. This policy provides an employee with the individual opportunity to address concerns regarding discipline, termination, or workplace safety matters, to have those matters reviewed by an impartial hearing officer, and to appeal to the common council of the city of Mayville. So I can look into all the policies.
That's the way it's written now.
It's only
the
discipline
new
and
one.
safety.
The way it's written now,
I think it used to be you had to go to your department head, then he had to forward it on to the council.
Then the union contract would be exempt on it, right?
okay, that says it in there. If you're under a contract, no grievance, that procedure shall be followed.
Does that conflict with the police thing, or is it the same?
No, it says that they're exempt.
They're exempt.
They have their own process. So, if they were,
I'm looking up what we currently have. Currently, we have for termination, employee discipline, and workplace safety. So that's what our current one is.
I would like to make a motion to table this.
I'll look into it. See if there's any more with that to it.
I do need a second.
second that.
Okay. Right. All in favor?
Aye.
Well, wait a minute, before you say something, I have another comment, because there are other things that people grieve that could be considered laws, right? That are on the books, but that's why we have to have these boards up for employees to review every once in a while if they want to. You know, that could be something, just throwing stuff out there that they could grieve. All right, go ahead.
So I made the motion and Levino seconded. We will table this. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none. Moving on to 4D. Discuss with possible action. Oh, 4C, sorry.
Sorry.
Discuss with possible action, section 5.07, harassment and discrimination in the workplace of the city of Mayville employee handbook.
This is a policy for, it's defined this out. So currently, you do not really have a policy for harassment and discrimination in the workplace. You just have anti-harassment, anti-retaliation policy, which means it can't happen. So if an employee feels that they're being harassed, there really is no policies or procedure in place. So this is one I would really recommend that we make a recommendation to council, to have the attorney review it and to go on and have it adopted so that we have something in place.
I'll make that
Can I
motion.
say something as usual?
Go ahead.
I think that very good idea. We've had a number of things in the last 24 months where people felt they were being harassed or bullied or pressured unfairly.
Retaliated.
Yeah. And yeah, we had a number of people retaliated against, still kicked off library boards and stuff like that. So I think this is very well I can't believe we spent 6 years on that employee handbook and we didn't have something in there. But it's good that we have an administrator who looks for what's missing. So I would say that should be, rather than kick the can down the road, I think that should be worked on immediately.
Look, Ken made the motion,
Yeah, I was gonna make the motion to move it on the council. And get it,
Well, I
and get it,
will, I'll have the attorney
Yeah.
do it.
and exactly that, and then on the council and adopt.
okay, and I will second that. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none. Okay. Number 4D, discuss with possible action hiring process for Department of Public Works Director position and Department of Public Works organizational structure. And that's where this comes in, correct? Stephanie,
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
are we, is that where this?
Oh,
comes in?
yes, okay. Yep, as we all know, Jack will be retiring in October. So wanna look how we do. I mean, huh? December? I thought it was October. All right, December. Sorry.
slow that down.
Pretty sure you said October. So in that process, just wondering, this would be a time the council would like to join the parks and the DPW departments. This would be a time to look at that and how it would look. And if that's something that you have appetite for, and then we could go ahead and start to create that organizational structure then for your DPW. So the first one I have, this is currently how your Parks Department is set up. You have your Director of Parks and he has 4 times seasonal, sometimes only 3, sometimes he's got 4, and sometimes he's got 5. It just depends on how the season goes, but they're all seasonal, part-time employees that are under the Parks Director. The DPW department, you currently have a Director of Public Works, which is the salary position, and then under the director, you have 5 hourly employees for the DPW. So if you wanted to join them 2 departments or combine them, the first one I have is you have a Director of Public Works, which is a salary position. And then you would have 6 hourly employees under there, because we would add the Director of Public Works then as an hourly position under the Public Works to handle the additional work in the parks. And then under the Director of Public Works, there would also be 4 part-time people to do the baseball fields and lawn clipping and stuff that needs to be done during the summer months. Or the other option, or if you think of a different option, that's up for discussion also, would be a salary position of a Director of Public Works, and then also Assistant Director, which would be a salaried position. Or you could call that working foreman or a team lead or something. And then under the Assistant Director, the 4 part-time people he would be responsible for the 4 part-time people in the parks. And the Director of Public Works would be responsible for the Assistant Director, along with them 5 hourly employees. So this is just some of the thoughts I've been thinking about is you have sometimes you have quite a few hours after 4:30 because of the summer baseball season, whatever season you have going on. So if you have hourly position handling that after hours, that would be overtime then for them. All right, whereas if you had 2 salary positions at the top, you could probably capture some of them costs then with that salary position. That's all I have.
All right, so what are the pros and the cons of doing the combination?
Well, I did talk to Mike Kurtz on this quite lengthy, because, Mike took care of DPW and parks and tagging all at once, but, he thought it was good that we combine them into one. And have someone in charge of both. not to mention that if we're busy in the summer, one of the DPW guys could probably go over and help with lawn cutting or whatever else he's gotta do, or vice versa in the wintertime. Combining option number 2 makes sense to me, but I would also have one of the laborers be also a lead person in case the director's gone for some reason.
So going back to how it kind of used to be
Without the tag.
without the tag. Okay,
Can I request, Jack, can you come up and give me your thoughts you've done this job for a long time.
Yeah,
And I mean, I would love to tap into your mind and see your thoughts. You ran the department, you've been here, you know what happens, you know the day to day.
okay.
So what would you, I mean,
Looking at these both, the way they're wrote up, I personally, if I would have to do something like this. If you're gonna combine your director of public works and your parks and put them in one, I would definitely go with combine 2. Then you're gonna have 6 DPW laborers. Okay,
this is some.
yes. Okay, is that, the director doesn't have to go out and plow snow. The director can just do his job, because it's gonna be a very busy job. When you're combining, he's gonna have a lot more hands-on with people between the parks and the DPW than he's ever had before. So if you have your 6 laborers for DPW, you have your 6 snow plowers, which we have to have 6 people. Okay? If we go to the other route, you're gonna have an assistant who is gonna be salary. Now you're in that same boat where, like, I'm salary and I plow snow, okay? So he's gonna be the salary guy plowing snow, which you don't get anything extra for, okay?
That's why I wanna hear, yeah.
So if you got your 6 guys, DPW guys, your director can just take care of all day-to-day operation in parks and DPW. And that is my opinion. I think that would work out the best. I do agree that you could take one of your DPW guys and maybe give him a extra buck or whatever it would take for him to be that guy when whoever takes over is out of town. Okay, so he would get, say you give him an extra, whatever it would take for him to do that job. But I think that one would work out really well. Then, like I said, he can concentrate on his DPW and parks and just deal with people.
Right, all the people stuff, all the
All
day,
day long, yes.
All the,
Day-to-day employees.
reviews,
Yes.
disciplinary stuff,
Yes.
issues, maintenance
Yes,
on all the equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think if you have to go the other way, he's still gonna be running around and he's gonna run around like he's crazy.
that's why I had you come on.
Thank you.
I appreciate your knowledge.
thank you, Jack.
I've been around here for a long time, 25 years, and I'm a big fan of organizational charts, as everybody knows, because they're important. But the city has worked well for those 25 years because our organization has been fungible. In other words, at one time, our city engineer was also our parks director. At one time, the director of the wastewater was a city engineer. For a while, Mike Kurtz handled 3 jobs. We've always adjusted. I don't want anything written in stone that can't be changed every so often because personnel change and different things change. Right now, they're talking about, for example, the red truck that the, who has it now? Used to be part of the school system, I think. But all these jobs change and all these people, the guy who used to handle snow plowing before is not the same as the one who handles it now. And they have to have the flexibility, they have to have an organizational chart, but it has to be fungible. It should be reviewed, shouldn't be set in stone like a employee handbook. It has to be flexible, because things change and our personnel changes, and sometimes we get really qualified people that come here and and become. Work for two departments. Look at the guy who's handling, I think still with maintenance at the tag center. So I'm all for organizational charts, and I think this is a great idea. But if you set them in stone, then you have to break them and adjust them constantly, so that we should be careful to make sure that we allow for them to be fungible as the need arises, because you don't know. You don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, look what's happening right now at our water wastewater, and look what's happening right now at the tag center. Things change, and the need for people in certain departments change sometimes. Jack, what do you think about that?
Yeah,
You worked for 3 different setups and makeups of this already.
yeah, when Mike Kurtz was in charge, that put me as a working foreman.
Right.
Okay, so I reported to Mike and we set up our job and then whatever that was set up to the director. So, yeah, I think you have to be very organized in this because every day you have to set up their work order. And, I think whoever had both park and rec, that's a big part of his job. So he's gonna have to stay organized and I think that's why it would be great if you could have a, you know, 6 DPW. I do like that combined too, if you're gonna do that.
You see where I was going though, you have to be able to change it to match up what you got, who you got, and
Right.
what equipment you
I
have.
mean, we've lost a lot of experienced people, let's face it.
Right.
And, it's different. I mean, it's, you know, people have to learn their jobs now compared to what it was before, so it makes it tougher.
Well, that's my only point is it's kind of hard to set an employee manual with an organizational chart in stone because the people and the jobs change and sometimes if somebody leaves and somebody takes 2 jobs, and they get a bunch of, I mean, look at who knew we were gonna have somebody like Fuzzy before? I mean, we have all kinds of people who step up and start doing things and we have all kinds of things that change, like now we have a branch grinder. 10 years ago, we didn't even have one. Or we had a different system for that. So, I don't know, and the firewood, the way we handle firewood and trees down. I'm just saying, let's be careful and not. Our organizational chart has to allow for changes based on what opportunities we have to get new people who might be more qualified or duly qualified or whatever. But I don't mind. I like this. I like the one with where there's a assistant and a director of public works. I also like the idea of maybe combining parks and some parts of parks makes sense. I mean, parks and public works. But I don't know, that's just my opinion. I've been here 25 years and it's never been set in stone. It's changed every 2 years.
You know, it's set in stone until we decide that, or someone leaves, or when there's vacancies, that's when we always have to adjust on what we're gonna do.
I know.
That's where we're at now.
And we generally have.
Right. By that, well, okay, so this can't be part of this has to be set up so it's changeable as needed, rather than, you know what I mean?
Jake, I'd like to hear from you. What do you think?
Personally, I like the combined first one where there's an assistant director, personally.
That with the
That's
assistant
what I think
director?
personally, but like you said, you got a lot more years experience, but I personally like the layout of the assistant director better, personally. That's just me.
Do you think that would allow more flexibility?
I think it would allow the say the assistant director had experience in one, like the parks department. It would give the other person more time to like actually understand one or the other better. Like, per se. Let's just say in a world where I would apply for this, I've learned the parks, but I'm not perfect at it. Whereas if we get somebody that has park experience as well from somewhere else, it would give me time to develop the DPW, that world better with him, not have to worry about the parks as much. I can adjust and try to learn more this way and then go back to this way and not talk about both of them at once. In a way, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, it does, it makes sense to me.
So on that, can I ask a question? You heard Jack say that you need 6 people to plow. So out of that, just out of the picture, that you have the director and you have the assistant director and you have the 4 part-timers. Who's gonna?
I mean, I'm young,
Who's
I'm
gonna-
young yet, so I enjoy plowing.
Yeah.
I might get to the age where I would not, I wouldn't, but as of right now, I don't mind plowing or any of that at all. So I mean, that part with the 4 wouldn't really matter, or with 6, or with 5 for that matter, as long as we would stick with 5 minimum people in the DPW. No less, personally.
Well, yeah, cause that you'd never take anyone away. The top one you like is you're just meshing everybody together.
Correct.
And the second one is you got a director and
And then the
you're
same-
adding a,
In the same way also for the second one, so say, like come summertime. So you're gonna have, for combining 2, you're gonna have your one guy that's in charge of the part-timers. And in summertime for the parks, you're working 50-55 hours a week, so then the guy that's in charge of your part-timers. He's gonna get paid 15 hours overtime every week, you're gonna bankrupt your overtime account in a matter of 2 or 3 months. So I mean, you look at it that way, you do the assistant director, his salary, he's watching over them for, say, 9 to 10 hours a day. You're not taking as big as a hit in your overtime budget. If you look at it that way.
Yeah, well, I don't know, we'd have to check with Bernie on some of that. I don't know. There's a test you have to take for salary employees to see if you're exempt or not, so.
You have to assist in the hiring and firing.
You know. You can make value.
We'd have to draft that job description.
right,
I mean,
To be
they're pretty much
salary.
the same, one just has an assistant director and the other one just has VP of labor looking over him. Pretty much the same thing, just one salary, one policy. And with an extra person. But that's just my favorite.
And I appreciate that. I myself would like to give a little more thought to this.
there's 2 things though. The hiring process for a Department of Public Works Director.
Right, so the other question you gotta ask yourself is whether, how you gonna post a job? You're not gonna post a job, do it internally. We're already grooming somebody. Maybe he doesn't want the job. Maybe you wanna go to option 2, he doesn't want the job.
Option 3,
And it is true, you would have that salaried person, but also you'd also have to pay the salaried person a little bit more.
Sure.
So
Oh, yeah,
it could be a lunch. Yeah.
right,
Either way, it's going to work.
yeah.
On paper, both ways would work, but what I would like to see is how it's gonna work for them. Not on paper, so that's why it's important what you two have to say. So.
How you wanna do it? And you can post a job and have Jake apply it and bring him in an interview and see if you what you like.
We could do that.
Or you could just bring them in.
I think you have to open it to any internal candidate.
Why
Do
not?
it, do it internally first.
Well, then post it internally first and see what happens.
Somebody wanna make a motion? Well, then I'll make that motion. To post the job internally first.
Well,
I would say probably. You think a month? Almost.
Do you want a resume? Do you want the application? Do you want cover letter?
Do a resume.
Application, resume, 30 days.
Letter of interest.
Your letter of interest, that would be,
Okay,
And it would be for the position combined, correct? DPW and parks.
Correct.
Okay.
You could work on that combined figuring out, make Jake the assistant director. He's already salaried. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
well, don't mess it up, we're already.
you are correct, they could handle it that way. Until you're closer.
Then you're getting some idea what you're getting into.
Mhm.
Training.
Correct.
Correct.
Well, you're already getting in training, right?
But not on the
Parks is
DPW.
tough right now, cause he's
We're gonna start ramping up here to
he's
do lots of
very,
that
very
now.
busy, so we try to pull him in as much as possible.
Right, well, the problem I see with that is we don't have the budget for another labor at this point.
Yeah, that would just be his position sliding over.
Right. We're going there in the summer month, we'll talk about that later. All right, is your motion a second?
What are you gonna do for 30 days, 60 days?
30.
Okay.
Internally.
So the motion on the table is internal, 3 criteria, letter of interest, resume, and what was the other one?
The city application.
Okay, perfect. I'll second that.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None.
And then what about the second part, Department of Public
Okay.
Structure? You're gonna table that?
Yeah. You wanna make that motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to table the Department of Public Works organizational structure.
And leave now a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Moving on to 4E, discuss the recommendation on senior level accountant job description.
You wanna
You're
discuss a
on.
little bit?
You're on.
Okay, so, this is in regards to the help that the comptroller treasurer's office has been receiving from a contracted employee. And, I feel that there would be much more beneficial if we could have somebody on site working with, the comptroller treasurer during the working hours during the day when, things are coming up that we can address them immediately. So with that, there would need to be the creation of a senior level accountant that would help with the comptroller treasurer. I laid out the essential duties, anywhere from payroll to general ledger to the reporting. And you can see all of them. Coordinate the external auditors during annual audits, mentor and support the city comptroller and treasurer. And this would be a part-time position and hourly, and the hours would be primarily during our regular office hours.
How much and how often?
That would come with the next one. Cause this is just setting up the job description, so. It's, oh, I have salary on here, this should say hourly. Mistake.
Excuse me, this sounds a lot like the guy we have now that comes in on Fridays if needed once in a while, just kind of phase that out or?
Yes, there's a contract's ending in June.
What kind of info? And Cameron?
Cameron.
Things out here, yeah. And Cameron is a contracted employee, well, not a contracted vendor or employer.
So this would be kind of to,
This is an employee. You can actually tell an employee what needs to be done, what we need to be working on. When you are a contractor, you cannot have that authority over a person. So it's what you have laid out in the contract.
so our idea is to phase towards just one of those two, not to have both of those two, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Did everybody get a chance to look at the description?
looks good.
Okay. So do I have a motion? About the senior level accountant job descriptions hourly?
I don't like creating positions, but I will make a motion.
Okay,
What do you mean? You just made it.
I know. I didn't create any positions yet.
that's your motion then, Ken?
Yeah, I make a motion.
Any second?
Second.
Okay. Got a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Moving on to 4F. Discuss with recommendation on hiring Eileen Lipke as part-time senior level accountant. And,
How often and what's the cost?
So Eileen was the deputy finance director for Dodge County and she retired a year and a half ago. She currently works with Vander Blumen doing taxes part-time. Because she's retired, she likes her retired life. But she is willing to dedicate 10 hours a week with Nicole. However, she is retired, so she might be taking a vacation here or there, but I feel with her being on staff, working with Nicole hand in hand, that they would be able to work ahead or get her questions or answers to her questions within them 10 hours or as needed. And I am requesting that she be paid $40 an hour.
so. There is a possibility she may be needed more than 10 hours a week, correct?
Correct.
So, but we're not gonna go over 20, correct?
That is whatever you want to decide. That you should probably put a limit in there.
I like to put a DNE in 15 hours.
Well, right now you're paying 125 an hour, so.
175. 150, 125. Oh, no, I went, okay.
So, whatever.
And what are the average hours?
It's $78,000 you spent last year. Which would be how many hours? 78,000 divided by 125.
I think
It's
this,
$39 an hour.
can I say, this is a solution that has found a problem and it's fine. However,
Full time.
I would suggest you is to make this, subject to 6-month review or a 3-month review or something. Just to make sure, because, I mean, this is a case where somebody found the solution to a problem we didn't know we had yet, and I give her 100% support for it. But, this is not something that was posted before, because we didn't know this, but that we needed a solution, exactly. But I'm all for it, I just would suggest that there be some review process on it.
What would the review process be for?
Well, it's just like you hire any employee, you have a,
Right, but we have a city administrator that's gonna be monitoring the part-time employee, and I'm sure she's not doing her job. I'm sure the administrator would step in.
was the city administrator hiring her, or is the council hiring?
Well, the council's hiring her, right? But who's gonna be supervisor is the city administrator.
We have a written policy for employees,
Not for-
part-time and full-time, but they're subject to review. I think that should be followed, but if you don't think so,
Well, I don't know if we,
try and get it through without it.
I don't know if we have it part-time for reviews. I know full-time we do.
This is a professional employee. A senior,
I mean, for council, we can even have her come in. I mean,
pardon me,
for the council meeting, if you want to meet her or talk to her.
no, it's not a matter of approving the person, it's a matter of seeing if it's still necessary, or if she's fulfilling our
And we can definitely do that. We could, I. Yeah.
I know, normally, I mean, you normally review, it can be a simple matter of the person whom she answers to giving the council a progress report on it, so forth and so on, but there should be some review process to see if our solution
Mhm.
to a problem we didn't know we had is now solving the problem. And I'm 100% behind you, but I just would suggest that, you don't have to listen to me. But we very rarely hire people and just put them on a rope tie and leave them out to deal with them for themselves.
Will we give Stephanie, give us updates?
Yeah,
Um,
well, that's up to you guys, to figure it out, but I would suggest some kind of review.
would you be comfortable with that, Stephanie?
Yes, absolutely. I'll give you updates and reviews and I would just love. Currently, we were supposed to make schedules together to work on with Nicole and it's not being done and I can't force a contracted person to even create this schedule with me. I need to have somebody that will work with me. I need to be able to converse, somebody in the room. Nicole's there. This needs to be done. Nicole doesn't quite understand it. I have somebody that can take that information and take it to Nicole and we get the problem done. It's currently not being done. What's happening is, Nicole, we need to do this. And as Nicole transfers what she needs done to our contracted employee, it's being lost in the communications. I mean,
Okay,
but we're talking about why we need this employee. I think be so much more beneficial for Nicole to have somebody on site, knowing what the atmosphere is even like.
okay.
That's exactly, if I can say, I agree with what Stephanie is saying. We're at a point where our books are good now. They're good. I mean, we've got a great, report, from our auditors that we're excited to share with you guys and we can go off good books, but having someone in here who can see the day-to-day operations, the treasurer has, that role. And so there's a lot to it. And so now that we have the right books, we have someone who can, even just for internal controls, verifying the bank recs, things like that. It'd just be helpful that we can start our own function where instead of waiting until audit to clean up things and make sure cash clearings are good, this is something that, I really want to develop and have someone here who can assist me and having everything done before audit, like monthly reconciliations. Oh, I mean, my monthly reconciliations are done. I just mean the audit part of it. I also mean the complete, asset control and just making sure that, things are being capitalized every month and just have a good foundation because the books are good and now we need to start a good foundation and I know Eileen personally as well. And she's a very, very, she's well knowledgeable.
All right.
So
I have one question or two. What did she do for the county again?
Assistant finance director.
She was at that position how long?
35 years or so.
One time. So she was director for
Back
almost 2 years.
Yeah.
We didn't have a finance director.
All certified and stuff.
There-
Yeah, I worked with her when I was at the county, she's 100%, but I'm just saying, we thought we had this problem solved with the contracted employee, we don't have it solved.
it's not that it was a problem, it's just now our books are really good. We are solid. Now we need,
You keep it that way, okay.
well, we're trying, that's why having her in-house, seeing the day-to-day operations and how it actually functions. And like Stephanie said too, it's nice to have.
I don't think the goal was to have a contractor.
No.
Here
No,
right.
forever.
That was a
Right.
patch.
So now we're here, we're getting rid of the patch and
And we have a retired person that doesn't want to work at this job forever
And
or take over Nicole's job. So I think it's
I'm sorry.
a good fit.
It also will allow me to continue with, my pay. Other things that we want to advance the city with, even if one day we can start using my viewpoint for accounts payables and just, we can get up to date on a lot of, ways that other municipalities are doing things and use our system for what we're, and, that's another important of internal controls, you know, so. You know, that allows me time to do that, it allows me and Eileen, you know, to focus on. I need more time and that one.
Did you have another question?
Me?
Yeah.
I was gonna make a motion to save the city $37,000 a year and bring on Eileen.
I didn't know it was an either or thing. I didn't know one was ending the other.
Kevin will always be there if we need him, he says, call me anytime you need it. Or, it's not that if we ever wanted his consulting, he's ever gone,
We reached out to him and told him what our
he's available,
Okay,
plan was.
we're not obligated to him.
correct? No,
We're
he,
just not renewing the contract.
he's been excited watching my growth and wants me to continue growing, and if I need him for anything, I can reach out to him just like any other municipality. He's not
Yeah,
absent if we don't need him. No, I mean, not charging.
again, I'm gonna make a motion to save $37,000 a year. And move on with, bringing Eileen as a part-time senior level accountant to the city of Mayville.
Do we need to, put a final number on part-time hours? You think 20 is enough?
Yes.
That's up to the city administrator.
And what is it for WRS 1,200 rolling hours? That's.
She doesn't, she doesn't even want to.
24 hours, 24 hours.
Yeah, just so it
Yeah.
doesn't, yeah.
It's part-time. It's not full-time,
This has to go to council, right?
24 hours or more, and then you're on WRS.
right?
10 times
Okay, you made the motion.
Your motion is to send it to the council.
Recommend council approve.
Okay,
Yes. Save
And-
$37,000 a year.
I will second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none. We have to roll.
Yep.
Okay,
Money.
roll vote, sorry.
Alderperson Newman,
Aye.
Alderperson Olson,
Aye.
Alderperson Lehnow.
Aye.
Motion carries.
May I have a motion to adjourn at 8? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, any opposed? None.
Good night.
Good night.